In this video, we're going to be looking at some more complex rules of indices. Now, the first new rule is negative indices. Now, a negative sign in front of a power, we flip the base upside down and change the power to a positive. It's only the power and the base that are flipped over, nothing else. So, if we look here at the first example of 6 to the power of minus 2. So, that'll now be written as 1 over 6. And now the power of minus 2 becomes positive. So that'll be 1 over 6 squared, which is equal then to 1 over 36. The same applies to 7 to the power of minus 3. So that'll be written as 1 over 7 to the power of 3, which is equal to 1 over 343. Notice the rule up here in green. So if you just have one term as your base, it goes under 1 and then the power becomes positive. Now in the next one there, 9m to the power of minus 4, that's going to be 9 over m to the power of 4. So the power becomes positive. If you have x to the power of minus 1, that'll just be 1 over x to the power of 1. And we never really write x to the power of 1, so that'll just be 1 over x. Okay, let's have a look at another few. So here, if we have x to the power of minus 2, that'll become 1 over x squared. 5a to the power of minus 3, that'll be 5 over a to the power of 3. Okay, in these two now, you can see that we have a negative sign at the bottom. So for that will now flip over and become 4 to the power of 2, which can be written out as 16. Likewise with the next one, that can be flipped around to become 3 over 2 to the power of 3. So then we'll have 3 cubed over 2 cubed. So that will be 27 over 8. And there's our answer. They're looking for a rational number. So that's a fraction. So 27 over 8 is correct. Okay, the next one now is fractional indices. Now, first of all, if you look here, so if ever you see anything to the power of a half, that means the same as square root. So a to the power of a half is the same as square root of a. Likewise, if you see something like a to the power of a third, that's the same as the third root of a. So if you see 64 to the power of a half, that's the same as the square root of 64, which is 8. The next one there, we have 3,125 to the power of a fifth. So that is the same as the fifth root of 3,125. Now, you can put it into your calculator like that, and that will equal 5. Next one then, so a to the power of a third. So that's the third root of 8, which will equal 2. Next one then, so that'll be the 10th root of 1,024. Which will also equal 2. Now, if you're any bit unsure, your calculator will do these functions for you. But if you're dealing with algebraic terms, you won't be able to use your calculator, so it is important to know how to use these rules. Okay, so if we look at these fraction indices now, we're going to be looking at the rule up here. So what we do is we put the number at the bottom of the fraction to the left of the square root, and put number on top of the fraction at the right of the square root. So you can see how they're doing it here in the rule on page 21 in the logbooks. So in the first one there, so our denominator is 3, so I'll go to the left of the square root. So the third root of 64, then brackets and all squared. So we work from left to right. So the third root of 64, that is 4. So we have 4 squared which is 16. Next one's the same, so the third root of 8 all squared. So the third root of 8 is 2. So we have 2 squared, so that is going to equal 4. Next one now, so we're going to have the fifth root of 32. So the fifth root of 32 is 2. So now we have 2 squared, which is 4. So again, whatever we have as our denominator goes on the left, then what's as our numerator will be outside the brackets on the right. Okay, so last one here, these are going to combine the negative indices with the fractional indices. So because it's negative, what we're going to do is we're going to flip it upside down. So it'll just become 64 over 1, which is the same as 64. And then because we flip it around, now the power is going to become positive. So then we're going to find the sixth root of 64. So the sixth root of 64 is going to be 2. So then we have 2 to the power 5, which is equal to 32. Now for the next one, we have 16 to the power of minus 3 over 4. So for 16, that'll have to be written as 1 over 16. Now we're going to change that power to positive, so to the power of 3 over 4. Now, we can do this separately, so finding the fourth root of 1, the fourth root of 16, boil them to the power of 3. So for the top, so the fourth root of 1 is 1, then 1 to the power of 3 is just 1. So there's really no need for me to do that, that'll stay as 1. Now the fourth root of 16 is 2. Then to the power of 3, so that'll be 1 over 8 as my final answer. And that's it. So it'll take a bit of practice to get used to these because they can be a bit tricky.